HUAWEI P Smart adopts metal plus plastic rear cover. Therefore, you need to pry open the rear cover at the SIM card tray position and then loosen the snap fits on the edges. However, HUAWEI P Smart 2019 adopts full plastic rear cover, so you can pry open a corner at the bottom and then loosen the snap fits on the edges. The battery of HUAWEI P Smart is attached using the adhesive. Therefore, it is more difficult to be removed. However, the battery of HUAWEI P Smart 2019 adopts battery package film, allowing you to easily remove the battery without heating it or using a tool. Prepare the required tools. Power off the phone. Attach the TP process protective film. Use the eject pin to remove the SIM card tray. Insert the opening pick in the gap on the corner beside the headset jack to pry open the rear cover. Swipe the opening pick along the edges to loosen the snap fits on both sides. Loosen the snap fits at the bottom and under the power button. Then loosen the snap fits above the volume button. Separate the rear cover from the front cover assembly and turn it over to the left. Place the rear cover on the left of the front cover assembly. Attach a piece of protective film to the rear cameras. Use plastic tweezers to remove the mylar and loosen the fingerprint sensor ZIF connector keyboard clip on the rear cover. Remove the fingerprint sensor FPC. Use plastic tweezers to remove the two pieces of mylar. Use the Phillips screwdriver to remove the 10 screws from the PCBA. Remove the 6 screws from the subboard support, including 4 silver screws and 12 black screws. Push up the PCBA support to loosen the lower left snap fit. Push down the PCBA support to loosen the upper snap fits. Tilt the right side of the PCBA support and remove it. Push the B2B connector steel sheet leftwards and tilt its bottom to remove it. Use your left hand to push the left side of the subboard support downwards. Use your right hand to pry out the top of the subboard support. Loosen all snap fits and remove the subboard support. Use the B2B connector removal tool to loosen the battery B2B connector, main FPC B2B connector and the PCBA, LCD B2B connector, fingerprint sensor FPC B2B connector, rear camera B2B connector, front camera B2B connector. Use plastic tweezers to remove the fingerprint sensor FPC, rear cameras and front camera. Attach a piece of protective film to the front camera. Use plastic tweezers to loosen the coaxial cable heads. Remove the cable from the groove. Use plastic tweezers to pry out the PCBA at its lower right corner and then remove it. Use the opening card to remove the thermal adhesive from the front cover assembly. Use a lint-free cloth dipped in alcohol to remove the residual adhesive. Apply a proper amount of thermal adhesive to the front cover assembly as instructed. Prepare a new PCBA. Check that the springs and water indicating label on it are intact. Slightly bend the LCD FPC, main FPC, and battery FPC. Tilt and insert the upper left corner of the PCBA in the front cover assembly and fasten the snap fit. Align the PCBA with the locating pin on the upper right corner. Insert the lower right corner of the PCBA in place and fasten the snap fit. Fasten the LCD FPC B2B connector. Remove the protective film from the front camera and install the front camera. Install rear cameras and the fingerprint sensor FPC. Fasten a new coaxial cable on the subboard and PCBA. Fit the coaxial cable in the groove. Fasten the main FPC B2B connector and battery B2B connector on the PCBA. Insert the bottom of the PCBA support in the PCBA shielding frame and fasten the snap fit. Then insert the top of the PCBA support in place and fasten the snap fit. Insert the left side and the middle of the steel sheet in place. Push the steel sheet rightwards to fasten it on the front cover assembly. Tilt and insert the subboard support in the front cover assembly. Press it to fasten the snap fit at the bottom. Tighten the 12 black screws and 4 silver screws on the front cover assembly in the sequence instructed. Use plastic tweezers to attach a warranty sticker to the specified screw. Use the Phillips screwdriver to remove the 3 screws from the PCBA. Remove the 8 screws from the subboard support, including 3 silver screws and 5 black screws. Remove the B2B connector steel sheet, subboard support, battery B2B connector, coaxial cable. Use the B2B connector removal tool to loosen the main FPC B2B connector on the subboard. Use plastic tweezers to pry out the speaker at its lower right corner and remove it. Pry out the subboard at the USB port on it and remove the subboard. Check that the subboard is free of cosmetic defects. Tilt and insert the top of the subboard in the front cover assembly and fasten the snap fit. Align the bottom of the subboard with the locating pin on the front cover assembly. Insert the bottom of the subboard in the front cover assembly and fasten the snap fit. Insert the left side of the speaker in the middle frame and fasten the snap fit. Insert the right side of the speaker in place and fasten the snap fit on the lower right corner. Fasten the main FPC B2B connector on the subboard. Fasten a new coaxial cable on the PCBA and subboard. Fit the coaxial cable in the groove. Fasten the battery B2B connector. Install the B2B connector steel sheet and subboard support. Tighten the 8 black screws and 3 silver screws on the front cover assembly as instructed. Use plastic tweezers to attach a warranty sticker to the specified screw. Remove all screws. Remove the PCBA support, subboard support, speaker, coaxial cable, PCBA, USB subboard. Remove the thermal adhesive from the PCBA and front cover assembly. Use plastic tweezers to remove the proximity light sensor rubber cover from the front cover assembly. Use metal tweezers to pry out the proximity light sensor subboard at its lower left corner and remove it. Use plastic tweezers to remove the adhesive from the proximity light sensor subboard. Remove the release film from the proximity light sensor subboard slot on the front cover assembly. Insert the proximity light sensor subboard in the front cover assembly. Press the subboard to activate the adhesive. Install the proximity light sensor rubber cover. Apply thermal adhesive on the front cover assembly. Remove the mylar from the front camera slot on the front cover assembly. Install the PCBA, subboard, speaker, coaxial cable, subboard support. Then install the front camera and rear cameras, PCBA support, and B2B connector steel sheet. Tighten the 12 black screws and 6 silver screws on the front cover assembly as instructed. Use plastic tweezers to attach a warranty sticker to the specified screw. Remove the 3 screws from the B2B connector steel sheet. Remove the steel sheet. Loosen the battery B2B connector, main FPC B2B connector, fingerprint sensor FPC B2B connector. Tear tip 3 apart from tip 1 and tip 2 on the battery film. Tear tips 1 and 2 apart from the battery. Ensure that the adhesive on tips 1 and 2 is not left on the battery. Hold tip 3 and pull up the battery slowly at a 75-degree angle. After 2/3 of the battery are pulled out, use your hands to remove it completely. Remove battery film and adhesive from the battery compartment. Remove the residual adhesive. Check that the battery compartment is free of foreign objects and residual adhesive. Attach a new piece of battery adhesive to the battery compartment. Take the battery and insert it in the front cover assembly. Check that the roller is free of foreign objects. Press fit the battery vertically for 6 to 10 seconds at least 3 times. While rolling on the battery, ensure that only the green part of the pressure indicator on the top is exposed. Fasten the fingerprint sensor FPC B2B connector, main FPC B2B connector on the PCBA, battery B2B connector. Install the B2B connector steel sheet. Tighten the 3 black screws on the B2B connector steel sheet. Attach a warranty sticker to the specified screw. Remove all screws and the PCBA support. Use metal tweezers to pry out the receiver at its bottom and remove it. Remove the adhesive from the receiver and attach new adhesive. Take a new receiver and hold it in the correct direction. Insert the receiver in the front cover assembly and press the receiver in place. Install the PCBA support and tighten all screws. Place the removed rear cover on the workbench. Use plastic tweezers to pry out the side buttons and remove them from the rear cover. Take new side buttons. Insert the volume button and power button in the slots on the rear cover. Use plastic tweezers to fasten the side buttons on the rear cover. Remove the PCBA and remove the thermal adhesive from the PCBA and front cover assembly. Use an opening card to protect the battery. Use metal tweezers to pry out the side button FPC support. Use your hand to remove the side button FPC from the front cover assembly. Remove the adhesive from the side button FPC pad slot on the front cover assembly. Attach a new piece of adhesive to the slot. Take a new side button FPC. Remove the release films from the side buttons and front cover assembly. Attach the side button FPC to the front cover assembly. Apply thermal adhesive on the front cover assembly. Install the PCBA and PCBA support. Attach 2 pieces of mylar to the left side of the B2B connector steel sheet and to the PCBA support. Place the rear cover on the left of the front cover assembly. Insert the fingerprint sensor ZIF connector in the keyboard clip. Fasten the ZIF connector keyboard clip. Attach a piece of mylar to the ZIF connector. Remove the protective film from the rear cameras. Check that the rear camera openings on the rear cover and the rear cameras are free of foreign objects. Align the top of the rear cover with the front cover assembly. Then fasten all snap fits. Insert the SIM card tray in the phone. Check whether the button tactile feeling is normal and whether the phone can start up properly.